Welcome to the At Leisure Podcast. This is a show about sports, video games, movies, just basically the things we do with our leisure time. My name is Brett, and I'm here with Jeff once again, and this time we're talking OU football. Welcome back.
That's right. Thank you. Glad to be here once again. And probably my favorite topic, OU football.
Yeah. I mean, it was an easy choice on like what fan I was going to pick for OU football. But hey, if you listen to the last episode, you might be wondering like why we're not talking K-State, and that's because our K-State fan had something come up, and we'll push him back to next week. So we're moving to OU today.
So
and
you get a better
honestly,
school.
Well, you at least get to. We're trying to stay in the top 4 predicted teams here, and that'll be fun. A better school. We'll see what he has to say about that. But I mean, we can just jump into it if you're ready. What do you think is going to be the biggest strength of the OU football team this year?
In a general sense, like the offense. I mean, that's usually OU's biggest strength. And once again, I think that proves true.
I would say last year your offensive line is probably your biggest strength, right?
Well, I mean, they were actually all fairly young, and so they kind of progressed as the season went last year, and we were seeing a lot better from them.
Didn't 2 of them go pro, though? Didn't they get drafted?
I can't remember the draft. I thought we had like a couple defensive guys, and maybe an offensive line. Oh, I'm thinking of at the end of the season, some of them were hurt, and we had we're going to be a young offensive line this year. And there were several young ones last year that made a lot of progress. There was a couple seniors, I think, that we lost to that. So the offensive line, I don't know. That could actually really be an interesting to see what happens.
And running backs, I know you'll have 2 guys coming back, right? And Barnes.
Yeah, we have Barnes and Sawchuk might be new.
I don't know. I just remember Barnes.
Yeah, Barnes is coming back, and I imagine he'll be starting. He's very good. But I'm excited for Sawchuk in the running back position. I was at the spring game, OU spring game, and he was doing some very impressive things. So I can't remember if he was there last year or not. I feel like he was, but he redshirted, so this will truly be his first year.
Well, I guess I'm just wondering if offense is going to be the overall strength of your team. Do you think that is it going to be pass heavy with Gabriel, or is it going to be run heavy, or are they going to be good at everything? I mean, I can't remember if they were good at everything last year.
Here's the thing. I mean, we were just kind of, I know this may not make sense, but we were just OU last year in the offense respect. Like, we were kind of solid at everything, but we had Marvin Mims, who was a standout receiver. So maybe a little better on the passing last year. Our receivers, someone will probably have to step up. My guess would be Farouk. So you might see a lot of running, at least at the beginning of the season.
Okay, so they might be more run heavy than last year. Because, I don't know a single receiver on OU. I can't name a single one. And normally they have a couple that are at least studs.
In the spring game, it was the running backs that were carrying the day. So not that we're not going to pass. We have some quality receivers, but if I had to guess, I think we'll be maybe a little run heavy this year.
Okay, so biggest strength might just be run heavy offense.
Yes.
And then maybe biggest weakness?
Also, in a general sense, just the defense. Like, I honestly don't know what's gonna show up out there. We have a few returning. In the future, we have it seems to be some good recruits coming in, but for this year, it's kind of going to be
Is it a lot of the same defense?
I'm looking through, and I'm seeing several returning. We have Woody Washington, who's returning. Billy Bowman. Who's returning.
I mean, I guess we can just jump into that. If you think the biggest weakness is just the defense in general.
Yeah, I mean,
we can just jump into important returning players. Who do you think is going to be the most important coming back here?
On what side of the ball?
Defense, either. Yeah, either side.
I think for defense, people like I just said, Woody Washington, he's a veteran.
What position does he play?
DB.
I think the only DB that I know for y'all is Billy Bowman, I think.
Yeah, Billy Bowman also returning. I think he's going to be – he was doing some pretty good things last season, so I think he could be –
Did he start the last 9?
Yeah.
Because I was kind of looking into his stats. Because he and Stotzman, when I watched y'all against Tech, Stotzman straight up was everywhere on the field.
And that's another one. Stotzman's returning, so he was playing good at the end too. So I'm expecting kind of those guys
Yeah, I looked into it. He had
to
18
step up,
tackles against Tech after
or
the game. I was
rather,
like, holy crap.
they need to step up and keep playing at a high level like they were doing at the end of the season, even though we lost some of those games. But
As I say, I don't know if I'd have said y'all were playing at a high level when we hung like
no, last
58 on you or
season
whatever.
was a wash. All right, it was
Uh,
a wash.
I'm just glad we got to beat y'all before y'all left.
Yeah.
All right, who else though? Those are two defensive guys. I know Stotsman has big things expected for him. I mean, last year he led the Big 12 with 125 tackles, which was 18th nationally and first in the Big 12. So that's
Mm-hmm.
insane. That's so many tackles. I know. I think Ethan Downs, a defensive end, was like a preseason this year. Like he was voted a preseason second team or something.
Yeah.
He's a
And
defensive end.
like from watching spring game, it's hard to tell because they're not playing like a true They're not
They're
going
playing very
all
vanilla.
out on defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, very very vanilla, very kind of playing it safe. Um, on offense, Dylan Gabriel's our quarterback returning. I think he's maybe the most important piece. He is, say what you want about the man, but he's a good quarterback. Now I know he's not Heisman contender or even Heisman worthy, but if you look at our games
He
last
could be
year,
Heisman worthy.
I mean he could if he
Yeah.
is playing
He's not up to the
the
OU
best he can
standard.
play.
Yeah.
But if you look at our last season, if we didn't have him, we didn't stand a chance.
Yeah.
uh,
That's so true.
and most of the time we won with him. We did lose some games with him, but I think he's going to be very important. And we actually have the new guy Jackson Arnold, who is not going to start. And what I saw at the spring game of him is, I think he has the potential to be very good, but he definitely needs a lot, probably more time to learn the system, be working with everybody. And I know they have been doing a lot probably since the spring game, but
Hmm.
and then obviously our running backs, Barnes. I would expect he'll be kind of the main one. But again, I was talking about Sawchuck earlier. I'm excited for him. I think he is going to be really, really good. And then as far as I don't really know many names on the line, but as far as wide receivers, Drake Stoops is coming back for his
Okay.
like seventh year or something. He's at least a solid receiver that they can throw to. And I'm looking through the roster
Surely
here.
Drake Soups is not going to be y'all's best receiver, though,
No,
right?
no, no, no. I don't think so. Sophomore Gavin Freeman, he is potential to be. He's a little short, but he was doing some good things at the end of last year, so he could be solid. But I don't think he will even maybe be our best. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, there's the receivers. We lost our star receiver in Marvin Mims, and so oh yeah, Farouk, of course. I think he will probably be our best receiver is Farouk, and then it'll be
Did he play much last year?
oh yeah, he was probably number two behind Mims last year.
Okay. Do you have stats pulled up, maybe?
So Farouk last year, his stats were 16, 13 for 16, I think. Sorry, for 145 yards.
He had 145 yards total on the season?
That's what. Oh, that's rushing.
I was about to say that's not very good.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Here we go. He had 461 receiving yards
Okay. That's a little better as a number two for
and
sure.
36 receptions.
Okay. Those are respectable numbers at least.
Yes, yes. Sorry,
I was like, holy cow, y'all have really emptied the cupboard. Y'all have nobody at
I
receiver.
was looking at the rushing.
I
Oh, why would they put rushing first? That makes no sense for a
don't
receiver.
know.
And
Yeah, I
then
guess. Oh, go ahead.
he had a lot of kick returns. He was kind of our kick return guy last year. I mean, so was Mims a little bit too, but
Yeah, I guess before we go on to important new players, I'd say just going back to Dylan Gabriel, I think obviously he has to stay healthy, and he averaged 263 yards passing and had an efficiency rating of 154, which compare that to Quinn Ewers, who had 132 passer rating. I mean, he's a good quarterback, and I felt like he kind of got some unnecessary flack last year. It's his third year under OC Jeff Lebby, so I think he's going to take a
hmm
step forward. I think that's big for a quarterback, is that kind of consistency.
yeah, I think so too. And I think I expect and hope for him to have a really solid year
Yeah,
because I need him to.
it's all lining up for you. All right, new players. You got any new players you want to highlight?
I mean, I've kind of highlighted Sawchuck, like I said, he's going to be basically new, if not
Yeah.
a freshman. There's another running back, Caleb Hicks, who I think he could see some action. They did use him a little bit in the spring game, and he seemed to have potential. But he's a freshman. Jackson Arnold, like I said, I think it'll be interesting to. He'll probably get to play in like some of our first games where we're hopefully controlling those games pretty easily. Like a lot of our defensive players are new, and
It's probably for the best.
yeah, probably.
I know y'all got Rondell Boythroyd. I can't remember exactly how you spell his name, but I saw on Twitter he's from Wake Forest. He's a defensive end, and that
Mm.
dude had some pretty good stats over at Wake Forest: 13 sacks, 125 tackles for a loss over the last 2 seasons. So he'll be good for y'all because. I know last year y'all lived in the backfield, but y'all didn't get enough sacks. Y'all had a lot of tackles for loss, but not a lot of sacks, and
No,
that's huge.
we very much struggled with getting pressure to the quarterback, and like you said, sacking them, and it helps the rest of your defense if you're able to do that.
And I know also there was an offensive tackle, I think, from Stanford, who I don't know much about offensive linemen, but I know when they have the frame of a 6'6", 315-pound man, he's probably a good lineman. You know, it's like that's an NFL tackle right there.
Yeah,
So
yeah, you would think.
that'll be
You would
nice to
think.
have.
I feel like it's just so hard to keep up now with all the portal. I mean, it changes. I feel like all the time, and
hmm
I mean, there could be
Yeah,
players that have been new since like the spring game, which is most of what I'm going to be using to talk about our season, probably.
it's exciting though, dude. I like the new players. You know, I like the idea of
Oh no,
having
I
the
like it
ability to have
too.
like an infusion of talent. Like y'all had a rough year last year, but y'all can just go to the transfer portal, find guys that are startable now,
Yeah,
and have a good season this year. I know that there's some negatives to it as well, but like for Tech, we had so many guys return, we didn't need as many portal players. But when we first hired, I guess Matt Wells, he was big into the transfer portal, and it brought in some guys that really played for us for a while. So it's just kind of fun to see a roster overturned, but also like you got returning guys and you've got new guys. Like in the NFL, I'm a Cowboy fan, but I feel like I know our entire team unless there's a trade. Like, what is there to get excited for in the offseason, you know?
right. And I feel like depending on how many big OU listener fans you have, I'm gonna get like roasted for like not knowing our team better.
You
But
might, dude. You might. I was thinking that. I'm like, I'm out here telling you the
but
important players that are coming to your team. And I just saw them
I
on Twitter.
I've told you who I think are the important players, and I think part of the problem is it's hard for me to like really get to know everything until the season starts, and then I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, I'm invested. I gotta figure out all our players and who's gonna be good. But
Okay, so what are you expecting for a good season? Like, what has to happen for you to consider this a good season for OU?
now this I'm confident in. Anything less than 8 wins is going to be like a terrible season. 8 wins would be like that was not what we wanted, but oh well, it's okay. Anywhere from like 9 and up, that would be. I'm very happy with that if we get 9 wins because last year we only had 6, and it was like the worst season in like I don't know however many years for OU,
I was having a good
over
time
20.
last year. Yeah.
So to have a good season, I would say at least 8, but I would like 9 wins and above. And really, anything below that is we're going to be in trouble because we need a good season before we go into the SEC.
Yeah.
I think if Gabriel's is a lot more consistent and doesn't get hurt, that's
Yeah.
going to
It's healthy. Yeah.
is healthy. That's going to be very key. And then if the defense can just like show up, if they can at least like the stat you brought up about the tackles for loss or whatever sacks for loss, if we can get some of those in, maybe some more turnovers, I think that's gonna help.
They
Turnovers are
just got to
big.
be.
Turnovers
They
are
just got to
big.
be better than the second worst defense in the Big 12. That's what they were last year.
Yeah.
And no team in
Yes.
America allowed more first downs per game than y'all did.
Yeah.
That's
Don't remind me.
crazy.
Don't remind
Yeah.
me.
And y'all have a defensive minded head coach. I could not believe how bad y'all's defense was last year.
I
To
know,
be
but
only better than Kansas in the Big 12 is just insane.
in his defense, our team, in a sense, was gutted last year after Riley left and took a bunch of players. So I'm going to cut him a little bit of slack. But this year, if the defense isn't better, like there's gonna be some very angry OU fans, probably myself included.
Is there anything other than just the flip side of that happening? Like if Gables gets hurt or if y'all's defense stays as trash as it was last year, is there any other thing that could go wrong for y'all to have a bad season? Or is it just
See,
those two things?
I think if Gabriel's gets hurt, we won't be as in bad of a shape because we have Jackson Arnold, the freshman,
Putting a true freshman in there that was always sketchy.
and we did that with Caleb Williams, and he
That's true. That's true.
lit it
I
up.
mean,
I mean,
he's insane though.
I
He's a
don't want
literal
that to
Heisman
happen.
winning quarterback.
He is insane. I don't want that to happen, obviously, but I don't think we'll be in as bad of a position as we were last year.
There's no way you could be.
But still, we do need Gabriel to be healthy.
I would also add if you're going to have a bad season, it's going to be because you continue to lose those close games. Also,
Yeah,
like last year, I think y'all had 4 one-possession games that y'all lost, and y'all didn't win any
at
one-possession
least
games. Oh,
at
5,
least it
counting the
was
bowl game.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Surely this year
and
that has to change.
usually we are kind of on the other side of that. We kind of win those one possession games. So it was definitely a odd year last year.
Moving to the fan mood, what do you think? How is the fan mood at OU? What's the general vibes?
I would say cautiously optimistic is the best way to word that. I am, at least for me, I'm hopeful that this season is going to be better, but I'm not like getting my hopes too high. But I think it will be. I think we'll be able to bounce back. And in reality, who knows what the rest of the teams in the Big 12 have? And part of, I guess, the optimism is that we do have one of the easier schedules, if
We'll go
not
into that.
if not the easiest. But yeah,
Yeah,
we'll get
next.
to
Yeah.
there.
Oklahoma has the easiest schedule in the Big 12 according to CBS Sports and
Yeah,
many other outlets.
yeah,
So,
and I
but
don't disagree.
yeah, me neither. But to finish on the fan mood, what do you think about how are people feeling about Brett Venables in his second year? Are they still giving him grace, kind of like you said, or do you
I
think
think
if he
so.
doesn't win this year, he's going to be in hot water?
If he has a 6-win season again,
Yeah.
he's going to be in some hot water.
Do you think they'd
But
fire him?
I don't know. I can't
Yeah.
say.
Right.
I part of me thinks they would give him one more year, but
Uh huh.
because I mean, it does take a little bit of time to
Yeah, and y'all are going
get
into
your
the
people in there.
SEC. You don't want to have a
Right,
new coach going right in.
right.
I
But
guess are people even caring about this season, or are y'all all just hyped about the SEC?
no, I think people do care about this season. I think we are pretty excited because the SEC released their schedule, a month or two
Uh,
ago, and like we've got some good games. But I think we like know that we need to have a good season this year, and then we're going to be really excited for the SEC.
yeah,
Because if we don't, it's going to be like, I don't know if I want to play
y'all got the
Alabama.
easiest Big 12 schedule in the conference, and then you're going to go to the SEC and you're going to play teams way
Which is
harder
good
than
because we need I think we need that confidence boost.
yeah.
OU does.
It's good that y'all have the bad schedule. Is what you're saying? Because I was like, at first I was like,
Because I
wow.
mean,
The Big 12 gave y'all a favor on the way out, but then I looked at it. I'm like, y'all's biggest game at home is TCU, I guess.
TCU,
I mean,
yeah.
you've got SMU, Iowa State, UCF, West Virginia, TCU. Like, there's no draw there. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's really a benefit for y'all to have played some of the worst teams at home. It's like, where's the juice? But
Yeah. But
for Brett Venables, it's great because he's like, thank goodness I
yeah.
don't have to play 3 of the teams that beat me last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
I'm
jump into the schedule. What are you
okay.
thinking about it?
Yeah. Obviously, first 3 games, Arkansas State, SMU, and then Tulsa. Those should be 3 wins.
Yes, but I would say watch out for SMU, man.
Sure. I mean, thankfully
They
that one's
are.
at home.
Yeah, you're right. You just can't overlook them because I think they're probably one of the best group of 5 schools left.
Yeah, you can't go to sleep on them.
They've been recruiting well, but yeah, I agree.
mean,
Y'all should beat them.
OU should win that game.
Yeah.
Then we go to Cincinnati, which like 2 years
Sadly.
ago, I would have been like, "Ooh, that's a big game." Next year, I'm like, I don't know. I don't think they're going to be all that great.
Me neither.
At
But sadly, this is one of your hardest games.
yeah. I think there's a lot. I mean,
well, keep going.
let's keep going. Keep going.
Yeah. So you got 4 wins.
Iowa
there.
State and Norman. That should be another
Yeah,
win.
should be easy.
Texas is going to be hard. Okay,
Yeah.
embarrassed us last year. It's going to be difficult again this year, but of course we'll want revenge. But if I had to say, I think we might lose that one.
Okay.
Although I think Quinn Ewers is overrated. I just want to say that.
We're on the same page there.
Okay, good. UCF in Norman. Now, if that was away, I think that would be a lot more difficult.
I agree. UCF has a tough schedule this year. They play a lot of the good teams on the road.
And UCF is traditionally a good team. So I still think that's a tough game.
I think Cincinnati's harder, just going to a place to play.
Yeah. I think UCF's a better team. However,
Me too.
I don't think they're used to playing
No, they're not
away in the big boy.
Yeah, they're not going to be prepared for OU's atmosphere. Maybe they will be, but
I mean, it's possible, and they'll have some warm up before that point. So, I would. My personal opinion is that one is probably still going to be tougher, I think, than Cincinnati.
Okay.
Then Kansas at Kansas. Look, this may come back to bite me, but OU hasn't lost to Kansas. We're not Texas, all right? They beat us in basketball. We beat them in football. We have an agreement, so that's a win. Moving on. Oklahoma State in Stillwater. I want to say that could be a scary game, but they did beat us there last time. Last time it was at Stillwater.
I'm kind of down on the Pokes, even though I want them to be good because they have the old Alan Bowman quarterback from Tech. But
yeah, but they got rid of
easy.
Spencer Sanders.
Yep.
Their best quarterback.
Yep.
Gundy, for some reason, doesn't coach that well against OU. I don't get it, but I will probably say that's a win for us. West Virginia, Norman, win. We have to get revenge. Then the next, let's see. I think TCU at the end is our most difficult, followed by Texas, followed by BYU and BYU. That's going to be a tough one. BYU's a solid team.
I would say that's probably your second hardest game.
Yeah, like above what?
Above, I would say Texas is 1, at BYU is 2, and then I'd say TCU at home is 3, and then I'd say at Cincinnati's 4.
Okay. Actually, I think I agree with you there. I would agree with that, except for I'll put UCF above Cincinnati.
Yeah.
BYU, that game I think would be so fun to go to. Go to Provo.
I know, that's what we were saying on the Tech podcast. It's just like, golly, such a pretty field and
but I've heard environment. BYU's fans are like, they're loyal. Yeah. So I think those games are like sold out. Like you can't get a ticket.
Yeah.
But that would be a cool one to go to.
Yeah.
For sure. And then TCU.
You haven't given us a prediction though.
Okay,
you're gonna beat Texas. You said Texas,
lose
you
Texas,
would be a loss. Yep.
Beat UCF, beat Kansas, beat OSU, beat West Virginia. I'm gonna say lose BYU and maybe lose TCU.
That's a reasonable fan reaction there.
I want to say we can beat TCU, but I really don't know how they're.
TCU's such a wild card this year.
People thought they were going to be the worst in the Big 12 last year, and they were in the national championship.
Yeah, and they lost so much of that talent, but then they got so much talent in the transfer portal. It's like, okay, how good are these guys going to be?
They have a good coach, so...
Yeah, you always got a shot if you have a good coach.
That one could be a fun one to go to.
That's y'all's biggest draw at home.
Yeah, I think we talked about that, yeah. But I'm going to say loss there because they're going to be a good coach team. If they are on a roll at the end of the season, that's going to be really tough. So
yeah. All right, so that's 9-3.
3 losses, 9-3.
Yeah. That's a pretty good season and going into the SEC.
I think so. That's what I'm hoping for. And maybe knowing OU though, we'll probably win one of those 3 I said we would lose and then lose some random one that we shouldn't, and it's going to be...
It's the beauty of college football, man. That's what I love about it.
I know, it is so
fun. If you could just predict it on a sheet like this, it would not be nearly as fun.
No, we wouldn't. There wouldn't be anything to talk about.
Exactly.
We'd be like, "Yeah, we'll see you then. Good game."
Yeah. All right. Anything you want to wrap up with? Any thoughts on the season before we end it? Anything you want to say to OU fans?
OU fans, yes, I do. We gotta stay strong. Don't roast me if I forgot about some key players. All right. And I'm sorry for not knowing stats as well, but I think we're going to have a good season, and Boomer Sooner, baby.
All right, we'll end it with that. Thank y'all for listening. Have a good one. Bye.